And we're live.
Welcome back to Screencast, ladies and gentlemen. Kind of Funny's entertainment show where we bring you lots of movie news and reviews and just general movie shenanigans. I'm going to be your host today through the war zone that is now my apartment complex. If you guys hear some construction behind me, I apologize for that. They are gutting the apartment next to me. And I'm just hoping at this point they start on our apartment soon, because I'd really love for there to be one more thing we all have to deal with during this pandemic. Of course, the man laughing to my left or right or above me or below me is Kevin the Big Dog Coelho. How you doing, Kev?
Good.
And then, of course, Christmas came early in June. What do we used to call you, Joe? Joey Noel, the movie bros herself. How you doing?
It was Christmas in whatever month it is. So you got
in whatever
there.
month it is.
Yeah,
okay, you got there eventually. We have a fun show planned for you guys today. Not too much news, but a lot of people are digging the Nick list, and we have a lot of submissions for that. So if you guys want to be a part of that submission process, you can go over to patreon.com/kindoffunny, back into the $5 above tier, and submit ideas for movies you want us to watch, as well as we'll ask a question later today. Actually, we might not ask a question today. We might just do Nicholas suggestions next week. But for you guys can go over there and tell us movies or shows or anything you think would be of interest, or maybe you screw with us. I'm just going to put that out there against the wall and see what happens. I hope you don't. But
I don't hate that,
You do.
I hate it either. You said it.
I hate it either.
I don't hate it. Nick, do you want to talk about your dope ass camera? Oh my god.
The chat has been asking about it the whole time.
It's so we've been talking about experimenting with this for a while. You've been actually trying to get this happen for a while, but you got your hands on a cam link, and that is our C.
So this is our C100 Mark II, which this is the weirdest thing. So I bought a Mac. Oh, well, let's dial this back. I'm a Mac guy, okay, which has been nothing but hurdles for me in production, because as you guys know, Mac is
step for everything.
Super fun to use at a coffee shop. You'll look cool if you're writing a screenplay. I highly recommend writing on a Mac. The boards just come so much faster. It's like painting a race car red. It just goes a little faster.
The reality is the batteries last a lot longer. You know what I mean? With a PC, you're sitting there, you're running out of batteries. Oh, you're going soft, Nick.
Oh, there we go. There it is.
God, that autofocus in there. Getting close. Let me see. Getting close again. Let me see that. Look at this autofocus.
I don't know if we need that kind of technology. I don't think we need that kind of technology.
No, but the reality is everything I've done on this before, of course, trying to do OBS, trying to do any of these things has been just a pain in the ass with a Mac, because OBS and Discord fight like two stepbrothers, and it's the worst thing ever. But in a weird turn of events, and we'll knock on wood, because who knows, we got to go 45 minutes on this podcast, so we'll see if everything just drops out. But I get the cam link in, which, by the way, Kevin and I ordered some cam links for like 3 times as much money as these things are worth.
You ordered a cam link. I got one from our friend Cheeks that he's lending me so that I can experiment. Potentially.
Well, first off, never give that back. Never give it back to Cheeks. He's not getting it back. Do you understand? Cheeks, if you're watching this, you're done fucked up. You fucked up. And it's over. But of course, I get my cam link in yesterday, and I plug it in. It just works. It just literally works. And I'm like, that's cool. I don't understand.
That's really cool.
No, it's cool. But Joe, you don't understand. When you're living that Mac life, that sweet, sweet Mac life.
I have a Mac.
It's only a matter of time before the other shoe drops. Yeah, you have a Mac, but you like answer emails and like boss us around with it.
No,
well, here's the thing. I had a Mac, and then I was like, I need a work laptop. And I was like, I'm not dealing with a Mac anymore.
Good
I get
call.
it.
It's on my shelf over there.
It was smart. That's a smart call. Yeah, another smart call. Hey, so we have some Patreon producers this month who have backed us, and you guys are the bomb.com. Kicking it off with Momo Squared, Mohammed, Blackjack, Al, the Predator Tribesman, and Connor Nolan North. Nah, just trying it out. I didn't like it. I was going to say Connor Chris Nolan, but nothing works. We'll just call you Kono. How about that?
Kono!
Couple quick housekeeping things before we chat movies. Of course, we got some cool stuff, not the least of which, Joe, is this still on the store?
Yeah, heck yeah.
It's Pride Month, ladies and gentlemen. Lots of great things happening in our culture, in America and across the world. But of course, don't forget to celebrate our brothers and sisters who love each other in all walks of life with this Pride shirt. I love it. I think it's one of the coolest designs we've done, and it's colorful, which is great because I only like wearing black shirts these days, because Daddy has eaten nothing but cookies since this whole thing started.
God.
And we put on a couple LBs, Joe. I've put on a couple LBs.
Joey,
I think everybody's in that boat.
Can you imagine Nick just laying on a sofa being like, Daddy wants more gold fishes.
Mm-hmm. You nailed it. You nailed it. That's exactly what Daddy wants. Of course, shout out to our sponsor, Honey, which we love very much, but we'll get to that later. Let's see. What time do we start the show? We started at 10:35-ish, right? Mm-hmm. We got a really packed schedule today because we got a bunch of PlayStation stuff happening later for the dorks in the gaming industry, myself included, because I'm super excited to see what they have to do. You know, now that I'm a real gamer, Joe, after yesterday's stream,
I saw your Warzone performance. Very impressive. Very impressive.
I took some. I click boomed. That's all I'll say. I click boomed.
It's just really. It doesn't make any sense.
So much of the stuff that he says is infuriating.
You're good at.
Okay. Let's start. Let's call a spade here. I am not good at Call of Duty Warfare.
You had a great squad.
Snowbike Mike is phenomenal.
Kevin Asax.
Andy's phenomenal. Kevin Asax is like some sort of weird anomaly that came in to this planet that is not of this earth. He was clicking heads so hard yesterday that like this is how it worked. I was like, oh, I see a guy. He's dead. And Kevin's like, I got you, Nick. And I'm like, but I was gonna kill the guy. And he was just like, it's cute. Like he patted me on the head. He's like, one day, son, one day you'll kill a human being in this. And then he went on. It was fun. I digress, ladies and gentlemen. Really just one news story, and thankfully I just clicked on the document and accidentally closed it, so I'll just keep talking until I open it back up.
Command Shift T. Command Shift T. Yeah, there you go.
Hold on. Command Shift T. Let me try it again. Look at you. There it is. Top of the news story is really the only news story. And then I have a question from the audience that I thought would be a really interesting topic for us to talk about today. The first news story comes over from The Hollywood Reporter. Speaking of PlayStation news, Nick Way, the Chernobyl director, Jonah Renck, is supposed to helm The Last of Us HBO pilot. Which I'm very
exciting, yeah.
Seems like the right vibe you want.
I didn't watch all of Chernobyl. Mostly because Paula didn't seem to like it, and I didn't get back to it. But I am like, it's still on my list of shows to watch. Because like the 2 episodes that I saw, I was like, holy shit, this looks awesome. It's a slower pace, but like, I kind of feel like that's what we need from The Last of Us. I've never played The Last of Us, but I've seen people play it, and I'm very excited. It seems like a good choice.
It's a perfect choice for The Last of Us. I think that it's if they can nail the vibe of Chernobyl with well, we'll call them infected, but let's go. Drachman, we know they're zombies. If we can nail that vibe, it's going to be, I'm calling it right now, better than The Walking Dead. Not as good as Watchmen. That's my prediction.
Watchmen, the HBO show.
Watchmen, the HBO show.
Nothing will ever be
that's
like
how
that.
That's where you're placing in between.
That's where I think if this can fit in between those two, I'll be happy.
Absolutely.
This has all the trimmings of being a AAA HBO. You must watch show, in my opinion. Having played the game, understanding the world, understanding the moral conflicts they put these characters in, I'm all in for it. And it might be a good time for me to go back down that road because, as you all know, I was in love with The Walking Dead for like 19 seasons. But really is when the show starts getting into its Law and Order phase, where it's like 24 seasons later, I can't do it anymore. It's done for me. So hopefully, I mean, my hope is that they do like one season. That's The Last of Us 1 season. That's The Last of Us 2, because now The Last of Us 2 is coming out. I think that'd be really cool. But that's not how TV works. TV goes, we want money, put money, take money, and cram it up our asses. That's what we want. So,
yeah, I hope they don't go the Walking Dead route and just keep it to contained storylines. And I don't know, HBO did that with Watchmen, so like I guess there's precedent now that they could not just want to like draw it out to be a million seasons.
But the problem is they did it with Watchmen and then they dialed it back. Damon Lindelof was like, I'm only doing one season. Everyone's like, I applaud you, Damon Lindelof, for doing one season of this show. And then the show was a mega hit. Yeah. And he's like, I'm not doing anymore. And HBO's like, surprise, motherfucker, but we are.
If we give you $1 billion.
Wait,
I don't even know.
But hasn't his response still been like, maybe I'll do another season? Like, there's no confirmed that there's going to be a second season at this point.
Yeah, I don't know, but they for sure want a second season, which means that at some point someone's going to figure out a way to do a second season. You know what I mean?
Yeah, potentially, but I do think that there's a lot of hype behind, like, he really cared about the story and like constantly was talking about it. And I kind of feel like if he can come up with another story, I'd be down to watch that. But if they randomly announce like, oh, they're making a second season with this other showrunner,
Regina Hill. Yeah.
Yeah.
Oh no, the other showrunner is a terrible idea. But if they pick up and also,
but what I'm saying is, at this point, they haven't done that. So right now, things are still good. We're all very proud of HBO for not going the route of like, what's the other show that everyone liked but nobody likes anymore? Game of Thrones.
Game of Thrones.
Yeah, which they've canceled a bunch of their like seasons of the shows they were gonna do. Yeah. So I don't know. I kind of feel like, huh?
Are they still gonna do that show? It's like set 15,000 years into the past.
No, that one got canceled. Yeah, that one 8,000 years in the past, I think.
Thank God.
Yeah, that one got canceled. Yeah, it's very nebulous. I think there's 2 shows that are supposed to still be going forward, but because of all this Corona stuff, I imagine they've been postponed, and we'll see if they make it out of the Rona.
One can only imagine. Okay, that's it for news stories. Unless you guys had anything else you wanted to talk about for news, because I don't think there was. I didn't see anything else popping up. Theaters might be coming back. Surprise!
Yeah, there was.
I feel like it's all things that we've already talked about.
AMC's planning to come back in like July, right?
Right.
Like, okay, cool. Yeah. I'm sure that you're not going to lose a ton of money.
They're going to lose. Well, they're going to lose less money than they're losing now.
I don't know, because like they're either
paying for staff right now.
Well, I mean, they might be. I don't know if they furloughed their staff or what they're doing with staff, because like there's associated costs, right? Full-time employees have to have healthcare and stuff like that. So potentially, if they laid everyone off, then they're not paying staff. If they haven't, then they are still paying their what's it called? Their like
healthcare,
like payroll, yeah, like all the back end stuff. In which case, they're still going to lose a little bit of money because they're now employing people. So it's just interesting to see. This seems like a weird move, but we'll see.
Well, if for some reason it's safe and I get to see Tenet in the theaters on IMAX, I think it's worth the risk.
Would you go to see Tenet? Like, serious question. Would you go to see Tenet next week?
Next week?
Yeah.
Fuck. No, probably not.
Yeah.
I don't think I would. I just don't think it's worth the risk at this point.
Yeah.
And I think the risk is still low, because I think that with a lot of these, I think with a lot of the social distancing measures that a lot of companies are putting in, like I walked into a Pete's this morning and I was totally fine with it. I've been walking in at a Starbucks, but there's something that's, you're sitting in a theater with 200 other people. People are coughing. They're licking their hand, putting it on your face, all that stuff. I don't want any part of that madness. But yeah, I don't think so. I don't know. But, maybe next month when we see when everything starts coming back online, we see how those numbers spike. I mean, they're already going up. So it's unfortunate, which everyone assumed. Yeah, I mean, the cases are like, they've had like 10,000 cases or something like that in the last
Yeah, that's the number being thrown around, right? 10,000 new cases, which, Memorial Day weekend, like all the protests, like all of that, like people were very lax during Memorial Day weekend. Like we had seen a bunch of people at beaches and stuff like that. So we'll see. A lot of cities are opening up again, going back to normal. So I'm curious to see what the numbers look like in a month.
Hopefully they look good, and hopefully the market bounces back, and hopefully we can get back to watching movies the way they were meant to be watched, with people around you that you want to strangle and yell at. And then you bring Greg Miller, who is the nicest human being on the planet, but we all know that's just right on the surface, because underneath that is a raging ocean of fire.
Joey,
you bring him with you, and he yells at people.
Have you ever seen The Raging Fire of Ocean?
I don't think so.
Joey,
I've seen hints of it, little glimmers of it.
It's full on terrifying. One time he yelled into some dude's ear. Granted, he had told the guy like, "Hey, put your phone away," which again, that was still kind of rude. And then he yelled in his ear. I'm very happy that the dude didn't attack Greg.
I mean, he got angry at Greg and then realized 2 very salient points. One, Greg is a behemoth.
Big man.
You don't understand this until you meet him in person. A lot of people go, "Oh, Nick, you're so short." And while that is true, Greg is also unbelievably tall, as is Tim. Greg is 6'4", and he's coming in. He's like the mountain, for Christ's sake. So the guy turned around and looked at us,
like a pudgy version of the mountain.
Yeah, like the mountain that you want to kind of sleep on, not climb. Like you put your head in it, like it's like a Tempur-Pedic, the entire thing.
Tempur-Pedic mountain.
But he's like that, and then the guy turned around and saw that Greg was this fucking mountain of a man, and then he saw that there was 5 of us. And now, granted, all 5 of us had the look on myself included, had the look on my face where I was like, I will not fight. I will not fight. I will not jump to either of to help either of you.
I was ready to throw down.
So you're saying that if somebody tried to fight Greg and you were there, you wouldn't help?
You'd for sure help. You'd put him on a sleeper hold.
Oh, I would.
Go to sleep.
I would help if I thought someone was in danger. But my thing is always this: if you're
Greg's also not gonna like square up immediately either. He's gonna
no, Joey. You got like it was a different Greg. Ready. It was a bear that was up on his hind legs growling.
Yeah, yeah.
It was.
And you have to wave some Cheetos at it and throw it and then run.
It kind of got me all worked up. Where it's like I want to fight this Greg. You know
that Greg. I'll tell you one thing right now. When I took jiu-jitsu the first time, this is back in like the early 2000s, like 2006. I was taken out of a racquetball court up in Daly City, close to our new office. You know where that purple building is? That weird fitness.
Oh yeah, dude. That was like that's like a block and a half away from my mom's house.
Yeah, it used to be a different gym. I forget what it was called. It was like
Water
Daly
Racket.
City Fitness. Is that what it was?
Yeah, it was Water Racket, and then it was. And then we used to go to Water Racket all the time. It had a pool in the back. It was great.
So I used to go there to play racquetball, and one day I realized it doesn't matter. And then one day I realized there was one of the courts, the racquetball courts, they put mats down and started doing jiu-jitsu. And I did 2 lessons, and I was like, I am phenomenal at this, obviously. So I'm going to go wrestle Greg. And I went to do the world's stupidest double leg takedown, which when you do a double takedown, you're supposed to grab someone around their knees and take him down. I grabbed him around his waist, and he just picked me up and ragdolled me around for a second and put me back down. I had back problems for 2 months after that. That was the first time Greg hurt me. The second time Greg hurt me was when we arm wrestled, and I beat him, but my shoulder hurt for 3 years after that. 3 years. I was like,
still hurts.
Oh God, this one right here. Well, this hurts. I know why this hurts, because people keep fucking armbar me and applauding me, but it doesn't matter. Okay, back to the topic at hand. AirBarber had a very interesting question that I want to talk to you guys about.
Okay.
Obviously, right now with the Black Lives Matter movement happening, and actually we're seeing some real change affected for the first time in a very long time. He or she asked a very interesting question. Curious to hear your thoughts on how you think recent events will be reflected in entertainment. Do we think we could see a diminish in the quote renegade cop who doesn't play by the rules trope in TV and movies? Do we get less police-centric entertainment in general? Thanks for all you guys bring. Yeah, let me know your thoughts.
That is a very interesting question.
I think definitely, right?
Did you see that they canceled Cops finally?
What?
This week?
That's awesome.
They canceled the Cops TV show.
So they don't want to glorify cops going around busting skulls?
Yeah. That's just entertaining.
Pretty much.
You know what
I don't. I go ahead, Kev. Sorry.
Oh, I was just saying that show's really entertainment. It's usually I like seeing the Hicks get arrested. You know,
nanobiologists and the Texans. They also canceled Live PD, which is kind of the evolution of Cops, because I think it's on more mainstream channels. But
yeah, there was a news story about Live PD of like the producers not stopping some police brutality, and everyone's like, "What the fuck are you doing? Like, you can't be filming shit and see a crime happen and then not help." Like, that could be misquoting that. Don't quote me on that. I'm a dumbass. Well, first off, I had no idea Cops was still on, which is hilarious. I'm glad they canceled it just because that show.
I think it got moved to like a different because it was on Fox forever, I feel like. And I think this one came out of Paramount maybe, but I don't know if that's the parent company.
Wasn't it on is G4 still a thing?
No, G4 went away. G4 was Tech TV, then it was G4, and then it got bought and turned into the Maxim Network or some shit like that. Remember back in the day?
No.
G4 was always the network where you're like, I would click to it, and it was either Cops or it was Morgan Webb doing some sort of tech tip with a computer board. And I was like, I don't know what the fuck is happening here. And then someone's like, hey, we got an exclusive trailer for a game that's been out for 3 weeks. I'm like, all right, I'm going to go. I don't need this. I have the internet now. We don't need video game TV. We've got Greg Miller on the internet cracking skulls and writing articles.
Well, to go back to your question, I do think that we're going to see less of that. And I think that I'm curious to see if we'll see more things like the beginning of, the Watchmen, where it showed the Tesla riots and something like putting more attention to those kind of stories. Mm-hmm. Like, things that happen in our history that like we don't know a lot about that maybe need some spotlight. Mm-hmm. Certainly I'd be interested to see like it's also the opposite side, like people who like stories of people that are like going through like shit with cops oppressing them, or
Yeah, I mean, I respond well to any story that is well fleshed out and shows what people go through in all walks of life in a more realistic standpoint. Don't get me wrong, I'm down for the Hobbs and Shaw, let's kill everything and blow cars up and all that stuff anyway.
Are they
but
cops?
as I
yeah, Hobbs is a cop, right?
think one of them was a cop.
Yeah,
Yeah. I mean, I don't necessarily throw that in with the cop, like the
yeah,
renegade cop trope.
The
But
chat,
what's that?
I was just saying the chat's correcting me. I said Tulsa. I meant Tulsa. There you go.
No.
Tulsa, yeah.
Yeah, you guys are smart. You guys knew.
The cards are rising up, you know.
I don't necessarily want to see the rogue cop gone, you know, or the cop gone rogue playing by his own rules. I don't think we need to necessarily see that go away, but I do think that, you know, you can't understate how much entertainment reflects and also helps influence our daily lives. And so I think more stories that show a little bit more depth when it comes to some of these action movies, to me, I think would be good. And again, it's not to say that we can't ever show cops in a positive light, because I absolutely think we should. But I absolutely think I love any movie that shows what cops go through as well, because that's a very difficult job that I am not doing, and I don't think I am capable of doing, because again, I'm too nice and I want everyone to be happy. And you can't argue with a bank robber, or like you can't be like, guys, I think he has a good point. Let's let him have some of the money. You guys keep some of the money. We'll keep some of the money. He does a year in jail, and we go away.
Like
my captain would be like, "You're fired. You're fired. You cannot be a cop." This is my problem. I have way too much empathy with people. I'd be like, "Well, he's tagging the building, but to be fair, there's barbed wire, so it goes with the barbed wire on the building. What do you want from me?"
I think it's such an interesting thing to think about when we talk about TV specifically, because so many of and I am totally 100% guilty of watching the bullshit series that go on for way too long, like all of the Chicago PD fire med kind of things. Blue Bloods has been on forever, that obviously people are watching, but right. Do we need this many series about all of this on all of these networks?
I don't. Those I think are not necessarily. I think, well, absolutely not. We don't. But to be fair, sometimes I like to just jump into a Law and Order and see what's going on, just see what's up in the world from 1997. But what I think is more important, I think what's more salient, and I'm already seeing change, and hopefully will change more, is the depiction of people in these shows. So I don't necessarily mind there being a rogue cop drama, as long as that person's not going after a stereotypical black thug or a stereotypical Muslim terrorist. 5 years ago, it was Muslim terrorists. Every bad guy was a Muslim, and he was a terrorist, and every Muslim person was bad. And I think that while there are bad people in the world, and yes, there is ISIS, and there are terrorist groups that are out to harm people, I think that you can't understate how those depictions of people influence our perspective on the world. And I say that having been on this planet for near I say 4 decades. In the 80s, it was Russians. Russians were terrible. If you were Russian, you were the bad guy. You had to die. That was it. The 90s, we started getting into Middle East as being the bad guys. That carried on through obviously 9/11. That just pushed that out. And now you go back and you watch some of those things, and you're like, wow, it is just a guy of Muslim faith who is just the worst person on the planet. That's what we're seeing right here. And now we're getting out of that. And obviously, minorities have been depicted like that for a very, very long time, especially cop drama. So my hope is that we're not seeing that necessarily anymore, because I feel like that you can't, I can't understate that actually, when you see that growing up, you go into law enforcement potentially. I'm not saying that I'm a psychologist at all, but it could potentially influence you one way or the other when you hit the streets.
But Riggs is a good cop, right?
Riggs is actually a perfect example of what I'm talking about, which I wish they'd pushed that further, because it's from Lethal Weapon. Riggs needed psychological help.
Sure. He was unhinged.
They make a joke about for 4 movies.
Yeah.
The poor therapist keeps coming up to him and saying, "I want to help you stop being a psychopath." And they just torture this poor therapist, the cop psychologist.
Yeah.
They torture this poor woman for 4 movies straight. And then they go about their business. But he's a good example of, he's a good cop, and Riggs and Murtaugh are good cops. Yeah. But I would like to see a little bit more of that angle in that, especially for mental health and mental, if a cop's going out there being a rogue cop, I would like, well, let's explore why he's doing that. Well, what in his childhood made him think this is okay to go against the system?
Lethal Weapon 5, Riggs gets help.
It's just Lethal Weapon 5, but it's the beginning of Analyze This, where he's sitting with Lorraine Bracco. No, I'm getting all my shit mixed up. Lorraine Bracco was from Sopranos, right? She was the therapist in that.
Yeah, sure.
Yes, doesn't matter. I don't know. Either way, I think it's cool, and I think it's always fascinating going back and watching 80s and 90s movies and seeing how just everyone, including the main character, is a stereotype. It is so ridiculous, and I'm glad. I actually have a movie on my watch list that I watched this week that I want to talk to you guys about, because I thought it was one thing and I went and I was like, oh, I'm pleasantly surprised this movie was completely different than I thought it was supposed to be.
Interesting.
I can do that. Put that on my list right now.
Oh, okay. Cool. I thought that was the movie that was already on there. I was like,
No. I just put one more on there.
Yeah, I see that.
Cool.
I'm excited to talk about that too.
Very excited to talk about that and the other one. But, ladies and gentlemen, before we get into that, I'm excited to talk to you about our sponsor today, Honey. You've heard us talk about Honey before. We're very, very happy on this channel to be sponsored by services that we actually use. And Kevin and Tim love Honey. In fact, they talked to me about Honey before we even got sponsored by them, because it is something that can save you a lot of money. And you know what I like as a business owner? When people come to me and say, I'm going to save you money, and I go, cool, that makes sense. Is it hard? And they go, no, Nick, it's not hard at all. It makes online shopping, in fact, very easy. How easy? As easy as it's supposed to be. And that's what we appreciate. But we all shop online, right? A lot. But did you know you can make online shopping even better? You can with Honey. Honey is the free online shopping tool that saves you money online. Honey automatically finds the best promo codes and applies them to your cart, which makes online shopping finally feel as easy as it's supposed to be. Imagine this. Everyone close your eyes in the audience. Close your eyes, unless you're driving. Do not close your eyes if you're driving, but close one eye maybe. No, don't do that. Imagine you're shopping on one of your favorite sites like Target, Sephora, Macy's, Etsy. You get the point. When you check out, this little box drops down. All you have to do is click apply coupons. Wait a few seconds for it to scan for every promo code on the internet, and then bada bing, bada boom, as they used to say in The Sopranos, watch the price drop. Now, Kevin, you used Honey before, right?
I love Honey. I use it for personal purchases. I use it for work purchases. Joey uses it too for work stuff.
Joey, you been saving that money with Honey?
For real life stuff. I use it for everything. I used it yesterday to buy shoes.
Oh, that's pretty fun. Have the shoes arrived yet? You know what? We're going to put that on the document. And we're going to, who knows, man? D bought something the other day and they delivered it the same day. I'm like, everyone's clamoring for that. Anyway, it doesn't matter. We're getting off topic right now. You guys should use Honey. We love it. And you should too. And so do over 17 million members. Honey has saved over 17 million members, over $2 billion in savings. Did you know? Honey supports over 30,000 stores online, and they're adding more every day. Users love Honey. That's why they have over 100,000 5-star reviews on the Google Chrome store. That's a lot of reviews, and that's great. Not using Honey is literally passing up free money. It's free to use and installs in just a few seconds, and we know that because Tim uses it. Kevin will do whatever he has to do to save money. Tim he will not put any effort more than he has to in this, and he loves Honey because it's very, very simple to use, and he doesn't understand how his hands work. It's free to use and installs in just a few seconds. Plus, it's now part of the PayPal family. That's awesome. It's part of the PayPal family. Get Honey for free at joinhoney.com/morning. That's joinhoney.com/morning. All right, guys. One of these days, people they're gonna watch this and they're gonna clip out those points where I talk when I make fun of Tim, and they're gonna send it to him. He's just gonna do this, Kev. You know how he does that?
He'll click the video, 2 seconds, understand what's going on, and just close it.
He'll be like,
and then we'll ask him about it, and he'll be like, yeah, so I don't know. It's whatever.
All right, boys and girls. Here's what I want to do. I want to talk about what we've been watching a little bit. And then I want to go into the Patreon. There was one Patreon response from last week for the HBO show, but a lot of people really liked this idea of the Nick list. Y'all gave me some great suggestions. So we'll talk quickly about what we've been watching. Actually, here's what we should do. Let's do the Nick list first, then we'll talk about what we've been watching, and then we'll form a new Nick list for next week. How does that sound?
That sounds great.
All right. The Nick list from last week was as follows. Lovebirds. Did we all watch that?
Yes.
Okay. Underwater, which I know Joey watched because she texted me last night. This movie is stressful.
Yeah, it's really stressful.
And then The Wrong Missy, which I have to be honest with you. For the first 5 minutes, I was like, fucking Kevin got me. He got me.
Well, I didn't.
He was.
I think
whoever said it was Joey.
It was Joey. Yeah, it was Joey.
I was like, Joey got me. Joey totally screwed me over with this movie. This movie is terrible. And I gotta be honest. Let's start with The Wrong Missy because by the end of this movie, I was like, fuck, I like this movie.
Me too. Me too.
I was like, fuck, I like it. It doesn't make. Why do I like this?
It's
like
right?
if you. Yeah, go ahead.
Because it's not a good movie, but there's something about it that has this like weird redeeming quality. I think part of it is that she's so good. She's so crazy, and you can tell that she had so much fun making this movie and just like, I'm gonna go 110% on this character, and sometimes that doesn't work, and it's too much. And for this, I feel like it was perfect.
That was my sort of reaction to it. At first, I was like, when they first go on the first. Well, there's two things that I have criticisms of in this movie. One, Why did they put that wig on David Spade?
I don't.
It's real bad.
Unbelievably bad.
For the majority, I was like, oh, they put that wig on him so later she can give him a makeover and like better his like day to day.
That's what I thought too.
And then they just didn't. They were just like, no, this is the hair that he wants to have.
It's so weird because they literally went back, they watched Tommy Boy, and the wig person was like, that's the look we're going to go with. We're going to go with
that, but slightly bigger.
But slightly bigger and all one color so that it looks like he dyed his beard. You know, like what they call it, the beard for men. What is that service that people use where they like you dye your beard, but you see how my beard has like gradations in it because I'm old and then it's real. It's my real color. So there's grays and there's reds and there's mostly grays. When a guy's hair is all one color, it's so creepy, especially when they're older and you see it. You're like, dude, you dyed it all one color.
Just for men.
It's all of my like old uncles and stuff like that just dye their hair jet black, and you're like, this is very unnatural.
And this is the thing I've learned being married, right? I've only learned one thing being married for almost 9 years. And that is that my wife goes in and she spends a lot of money on hair coloring because they have to do like different colors in the hair to make it look like it's not
blended
just
together.
You have to blend it in. You have to do like different, like, you know, they'll do little highlights in here like that. So it looks like there's a difference in colors like real hair. So him and Nick Swartzman in this, I was like, y'all motherfuckers need to just be yourself. And I know why they did it, Joey. They did it because David Spade's old as fuck. Yeah. And it's really weird if he was himself to see him making out with a 20-something-year-old.
It was really weird to see him.
That's the weirdest part for me.
Yeah, like I still think that stood out as like, what the fuck? Why is this old wigged man making out with her? I mean, she makes fun of it too, though.
Yeah,
so
she does.
She calls him out on having a wig.
But I think the standout for me is her name's Lauren Lapkus, right?
Yeah.
Is that her name? Yeah. She's fucking phenomenal in this.
She's so
and
good.
Every time she does anything, like for the first 10 minutes, I was like, she's too much. I can't deal with this.
I love
it. Which was the point
first
of the movie
opening like restaurant scene, and you're like, holy shit.
And then, but midway through when they go to the retreat, and it was the moment where she walks out of the room. She goes, "Are you fucking rich? I fucking made it!" And I'm like, all right. I laughed at that. I caught myself laughing. I was like, you don't need to like this. And luckily, Dee wasn't in the room because if Dee was in the room, she'd have been like, I'm divorcing you right now.
Yeah, Paul, I could not get into it at all.
It's tough. It was a tough one. Here's what I recommend. Watch it at like midnight when you're a little drunk, and it'll be really, really funny. But I think by the end of it, a standout performance for me, of course, is Rob Schneider.
I wish he didn't have the weird hand thing. Like I wish that
hilarious.
No, it would have made it a little bit like there was no reason to add the like super gross factor of like the giant clump hand.
I like when he yells at Nick Swartzman. He's like, "You got me this fucking high. You knew what you were doing."
Oh my god.
Also, he was like, "If you see the shark that did this to me, tell him I said what's up." And it's like, all right, yeah.
You got me. The movie's terrible. But it's hilarious. It's fun to watch.
The overacting is just done right, where it's a little endearing, where it's like, man, you are trying so hard, and it works. Like, I know people that are borderline this way, and...
Me?
What?
You talking about me?
No, someone else.
Is that okay? Andy.
Yeah, where it's like, oh, I can't stand being around you, but you make Andy. Everyone laugh, so we keep you around.
Keep me around.
Yeah.
And I do the taxes. Andy does the taxes too. And no one wants to do that shit.
Well, you know.
I want to give a shout out to Adam Sandler's wife, also, who is in this, who I've never seen before in my life, who I thought did a great job as the Barracuda.
Yeah. She's great.
She was fucking great.
That was her.
I didn't know either. I looked up her name, and it's her last name was Sandler. I was like, is that Adam Sandler's wife? And she's kids and all.
I saw that in the credits. That's interesting.
Yeah.
She was really good. She was played the like asshole perfectly.
Yeah. It's time to rank this movie. We can talk about how funny it was. We can talk about how bad Nick Swartzman's hair is in it, and it's shout out to Bobby Lee for being in it as well.
How did Nick Swartzman get so old so quickly?
Yeah, old.
Like it happened so fast. Like I remember he was in Grandma's Boy, right?
Yeah.
He plays
30 years ago. It was like 20 years ago.
Was it really?
I think it was early 2000s, yeah, because I remember Grandma's Boy. I remember going to IGN and seeing the snake statue and being like, "Oh, that's the one from Grandma's Boy." So that was like 2005 when I started IGN. And
2006. 2006. Why?
Isn't that crazy?
We all like Grandma's Boy, right?
Fuck yeah, we like Grandma's Boy. I watched that again the other day. All right, so it's time to rank the wrong Missy on the Nick list. Of course, ladies and gentlemen, if you're not familiar with the Nick list, I only have 3 categories how I rank things, right? It's the 3-fingered review. We have the top, which is good, and then we have the middle, which I assume most movies will fall on, which is bad, good. Or good, bad, I'll say.
Good, bad.
Let's be positive. Good, bad. And then there's just plain old bad, which is just a movie that you turn off within the first 5 minutes. I'm looking at a lot of Netflix originals for that lately. Some of those have just been abominations. Where do we want to say the wrong Missy falls?
This is really interesting because I'm going to put it right here. Right here.
I think we need a middle category.
Joey, you can't do that. There's no middle category.
This is the middle category.
Okay.
But here's the truth. Here's the truth. I'm very close to pushing it up here.
What?
I don't know. I just enjoyed it so much. Her acting is just so good that by like midway through, it's like, fucking this girl's awesome. He should like realize that like she's amazing. And he does right around there. So I don't know. I'm putting it here, but it wants to go up here. And it's like, stay down. Stay down, you know?
Joe, what do you think?
I mean, see, I feel like I'm on the opposite scale where I'm like, it's teetering on the like a couple things get changed with this movie and it's a bad movie, but Lauren Lapkus puts in a lot of work to like save the whole fucking thing. So I think it lives in bad good, but like on the bottom-ish part.
You mean
of
good
that.
bad, right?
Or good bad, sorry.
Again, we don't. This is the whole point of the Nick list, is that we don't need to say where it ranks in the good bad category.
We just give it
the top, give it the bottom. The good bad category is like from 10% to like 80%. So it could be anywhere in there, and that's totally fine. You know what you're getting yourself into. I have to agree. The Wrong Missy, being the first movie ever reviewed on the 3-finger scale, is going to be good bad. Moving along, we're going to go over to Lovebirds.
Wait, are we keeping a list of this, or are we just throwing this out into the ether?
I might put it on the website.
Put it on the website.
Yeah.
Okay.
Just as a long running list in no particular alphabetical order.
List with no context. Greg has some weird pages like that where it's just random things.
I know.
All right, in the doc, I put good bad next to it.
Okay, appreciate that. Cool. Yeah, it's over there. Sorry, I'm taking notes at the bottom too, but I didn't realize I had it in both spots. Lovebirds. Moving on to the Kumail Nanjiani, Issa Rae, is it her name?
Yes.
Yeah.
Movie. I watched this 2 weeks ago. Joe, you watched it 2 weeks ago. Kevin, did you watch it this week?
I did, in fact, watch it this week.
What do we think of Lovebirds?
I want to hear Kevin's thoughts because I think you and I talked about it last time.
I enjoyed it. No, I did like it. I really did. I was actually surprised because we watched these movies back to back, and I thought it was fine. A fine movie. Like it certainly had moments of comedy where I was like, "Oh, it's really like I'm getting this." It had a lot of moments where I was like, all right, let's move along a little quicker, or you know, I don't like this interaction. But then there were moments where like him being a dick to Kumail, being an asshole to like the IT guy. Like I just enjoyed all of that, and so like it had good moments. Yeah. Okay. And I felt like Isa was really, really good.
Yeah,
she was good.
Yeah,
he was good. I think that the movie, production wise, my criticism of it is that it's barely a movie. It needed like maybe $5 more million of production value, but I think that the strength of the performances of the two leads kept me going for the 90 minutes this movie was. Also, just shout out to Netflix for finally listening to me and bringing back the 90-minute long rom-com. We don't need rom-coms to be Judd Apatow 3-hour long where we're getting Paul Rudd. No disrespect to you, Paul, if you're watching this. High as fuck being a lobster in a hotel room like This Is 40. Funny scene, but everything else after that and before that, I was like, I don't need to see your addiction to cupcakes. This is not something I need. Rom-coms.
What the hell are you talking about?
There's a movie called This Is 40 that I loved. I thought it was great, but it was 20 minutes too long. Just 20 minutes too long. Same with Knocked Up, 20 minutes too long. Stop, Judd Apatow. We get it. You're a great filmmaker. You have to keep rubbing it in my fucking face that you're better than me. All right. I'm going to say good, bad for Lovebirds.
I am also going to say good, bad. Okay. I don't think it teetered it close enough to be good. Okay.
I confirm also good, bad, but I would put it closer to the bad side. If you're comparing it to Wrong Missy, I would recommend watch Wrong Missy instead.
The Wrong Missy is more. The one thing I like about the Wrong Missy, and of course it's nostalgic, is it's much more of an Adam Sandler Happy Madison movie. It's got it's got the dude with the cross eyes from all the Happy Madison movies. It's got the vibe of a Billy Madison style movie.
When she looks at him, he's like, "There's nothing I can do for your eyes," and just walks away from it.
My favorite part was when she left, and then the guy she said, "You're gonna die on a plane ride." He's like, "What? She fucking left? Now I have to move to this island? Now I have to live here." Everyone who hasn't watched the movie thinks we're insane. All right.
Well, there it is.
It's true. It's true.
Last movie on the Nick list we're going to talk about this week is Underwater. Joey, let's start with you. What did you think of Underwater?
I feel like these types of movies can usually go two ways for me. And this went the best way possible because they don't spend a lot of time at the beginning building up the like bullshit world stuff. You hop into this movie and within 5 minutes you get action, which is like essentially what I really wanted from this. I didn't necessarily care about why they're there, these backstories about why they decided to pick this profession. It's like, no, I want to see them get to the point of the movie, which is like, there's this thing and it's happening and we need to get to this other thing to live. And it goes. They do a really good job, I think, of building tension. I was stressed out and I only really ever get stressed out about movies that like I care about. Like if I don't care and it's like kind of a bullshit movie, then it doesn't work for me the same. But I liked it way more than I thought I was going to.
That was the surprising thing for me too, because, and this is no disrespect to Kristen Stewart, but usually she's in utter garbage.
That sounds disrespectful.
And I usually don't like her, and I feel like she's very one note. But in this, she totally works. I think she was very well cast, and I think she works as sort of like not. And I don't mean this in a bad way. Kind of a blank slate sounding board for all the things to happen to her. And I think the rest of the cast is great. The guy that plays the captain, I think Vincent Casellas, or
God, he was great.
Yeah, he was really good.
Awesome.
The moment where do we get in spoilers here? What's the Nick list? Code of conduct.
Yeah. I mean, this is a review, so spoilers. If you haven't watched the movie, this is going to spoil it. Don't get into too much spoilers. No, don't. All right. Spoilers.
The moment he has like the where I don't know, he chooses to do something instead of not do something.
Yeah,
it was visually stunning, and like that brief second of like I'm making this decision, I thought was just like such good acting for how limited they were.
And and the movie feels it feels like a bigger budget movie than I think it probably was. And I think a large part of that is the production design of it is stunning. The suits that they're in the whole time are so anime.
They're so cool, and they don't help them at all. And I feel like that's such a good like awesome.
They're like a hindrance.
Yeah,
really.
Like it's hard to move, and that makes total sense. Those that like first of all, pressure suits that like intense don't exist, but if they did, they'd be limiting in that way.
Immediately.
Yeah, and I feel that's
what I liked about it, because that was a trope in the movie. They were like, these suits will not exist.
Yeah.
We can't walk on the bottom of this deep. These suits are not pressure rated that much, and we see that with some of the things that happen, where you're like, and that adds to the tension. Where you're like, at any point, these things could just implode and crush these people.
The first scene, and like I think that spoiling this is okay. Where the first scene that they go in these suits, and there's a dude who's got a little crack on his helmet. And he dies in the most fucking intense way. And like I don't feel like that's spoilers, because that's really early on, and like,
it's a little bit of a spoiler, but guess what? It's
you should watch it.
Horror movie, so people die in this. You should watch it.
Yeah.
And it's again, I was blown away by the direction of this movie. I was blown away by how much I liked it, and I really it's one of those rare moments where I was like, the director, who I believe's name is William Eubanks, or Eubank. I looked up and I was like, oh, he's got another movie called The Signal, which is on Netflix, which I think was a Netflix produced movie, or at least they bought it and acquired it. I think it's the only place you can find it. And I was like, fuck, I'm going to watch that too. And you know what? Good. He's really good at building tension in that weird sci-fi survival horror realm. And he's a really good director. What's Lawrence,
that? Is Lawrence?
That is one with Lawrence Fishburne. Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah. It's him in a suit, like on the cover.
And that's a movie, right? Not a show.
It is a movie, yes, correct.
Okay, cool.
I don't watch shows anymore. Oh God, we lost
Joey's gone again. It happens every episode. Look, I'm gonna peek up. Nick, peek up. If you go up a little, there you go. Now that Joey's back.
Every time, it's mind blowing to me that this happens every time.
Maybe you have a limit on your Discord.
For doing anything.
Well, either way, where do we want to put Underwater? I'm going to say this might be the first movie that makes the good list for me.
I would agree.
100%. Right. I'm shocked at how much I enjoyed it. And here's the disappointing thing, guys. I really wanted to watch this movie when like screeners were going around, or like when we had access to the movie theaters in January, I think. And we didn't get a chance to. And I had seen some videos that spoiled like the story, but like, man, I feel like the ending is like, even knowing what was going to happen still was like, oh, fuck, this is crazy.
I agree, and it's one of those movies that you don't think you have to. And this again, no disrespect to Kristen Stewart, but it's one of those movies where like it's a Kristen Stewart movie, like I'll wait for it to come to whatever. I don't need to run out into the movies and see this. And I just think that if I'd have known, I mean, this is the stupidest thing I've ever said because obviously the same could be said for every movie. But if I didn't know how good this was going to be, I actually would have gone out and supported it in theaters, and I would have watched it in theaters.
I can imagine this would have been excellent in Dolby.
It would have been so fucking.
I don't think I've ever went to Dolby though.
Probably not, but even seeing it on a bigger screen with better sound and like the darkness of a theater would have added so much to the claustrophobic nature of everything they do. I think it was very good. All right,
really quick, I do just want to say one more note that like because of the way it was shot with a lot of like footage being from their perspective in their like crazy suits, like I really feel like they utilized that in such a good way to like kind of cheapen the special effects and also bring up the tension. So good on them.
It makes you feel claustrophobic.
Yeah.
Oh, 100%. The suits, the fact that the second she goes, there's always a moment in these fucking movies that gets me where the character goes, I don't know if I can fit through there. And I start sweating. I'm like, this is where I put myself in their position. I was like, this is where I die. I see a little hole. 100%. First off, I'd be claustrophobic in the suit to begin with, and then you see the little hole. I'm like, I'm not going through there. I'm gonna die here. Guys.
I did not enjoy the like. I'm the smallest one. I'll go through the hole. It's like you're wearing the fucking big suit everyone else is wearing.
Everyone's
like, do you have a smaller fucking suit?
I assume maybe she did. Maybe there's like different, like small, medium, large. I don't know.
Yeah, but like they just happen to find 5 of those suits, 6 of those suits in the right sizes. Get out of here.
Here's when I decided this movie was good, and this is the stupidest fucking thing, but it gets me every time. There's a moment where she has to put on a different suit that was made earlier and is a different color, but still has the same flare, and it had cool spikes on its shoulder. And I was like, that's dope. I want that.
That was the captain's old suit too.
Yeah, it was just cool.
Yeah. The moment that I was like, oh shit, wait, fuck, what? In the first like couple of minutes when they're showing like the hallways and stuff, I'm like, oh my god, this has like such big alien themes.
Oh yeah,
like the 100%. Aesthetic, and like it keeps going on that, and it's like, shout outs to this movie. What a great movie. Not enough people should definitely go out and rent this one.
Yeah, I mean, Alien is a perfect analog for this. I mean, obviously, Alien, a classic, and in many ways a better film. But I think that the director and the production team drew a lot of inspiration from that. Having the female protagonist, having her be the lead and like the most courageous out of there, I think it really, really works for this. In fact, I think the team in general everyone in the team brings something to it, which is cool. Especially TJ Miller. Shout out to TJ Miller, who's in this going crazy. But I think he's back now. I think we forgiven him. I don't know. I can't remember what he did. But I think he's great in this as well. Go watch it. Let us know what you think. If you were a Patreon supporter and you feel like letting us know what you thought of this movie, go over to patreon.com/kindoffunny and post it there in the Screencast doc, or send us a response for Screencast, and I'll read it potentially next week, or maybe I'll just read it to myself and be happy that I made something good happen in your life. Last week's topic, we asked you, hey, are you going to get HBO Max?
Sorry, real quick before you do that, I'm sorry. Do we want to throw in any other movies out for Nick's list?
Yeah, let me read this topic first, and then I'm going to go into the other submissions that people have submitted for us, because a lot of people submitted some fun stuff for us to watch, which I think we should talk or throw into the mix.
Okay.
Wise Mark said last week, I know Nick said to forget HBO Max, but I don't respect his authority and want to talk about it. I got HBO Max free through my AT&T internet, and I have been thrilled. I've been watching Doctor Who, super old movies from Nick's childhood, like Seven Samurai. First off, that was from 1954. You son of a bitch.
So you were like a teen.
Man, I was just discovering my sexuality. And old cartoons like Looney Tunes and Scooby-Doo. The amount of good content really is shocking. I highly recommend the service. All right, Wise Mark, that you've had your time. You are now muted. Going into it, let's see. Brandon Jackson Short said, my recommendation for movies for Nick to review is The Hate You Give. It's a good movie that is very relevant right now, and I think Nick in particular definitely needs to watch it. That is one I've been meaning to watch, and I definitely want to throw that out as a suggestion for stuff that we want to watch. It's an indie. It's about, again, a police pulling over a black couple and shooting a black man, and then what happens after that, and all that jazz. And I think it is actually absolutely relevant to watch. I believe it's on HBO, I want to say.
I'll check.
But I'm throwing that out. I think I'm going to watch that this week. So if you guys want to watch it with me, that could be one that I guarantee is going to get on the good list. But we can, hey, you never know. Maybe in some weird fucked up world, the wrong Missy's better. I doubt it though. Let's see. Hey, Screencast crew, I'm really excited about the new Nicholas section, and I'm writing in my first suggestion. I would love it if you all watch and discuss The Secret Life of Walter Mitty. Personally, this is my favorite movie of all time. It's a movie that perfectly captured the quintessence of of adventure, and I first saw it at a time in my life when I was in a bit of a rut. For me, it's the movie that made me recognize Ben Stiller as a serious actor, as well as discover his competence as a director. I sincerely hope y'all give it a chance. Thank you, Daniel Edmonds.
That's been on.
Have you guys seen that?
That's been on my queue for a really long time.
Okay. I feel like I've seen it, but I don't remember anything about it.
It was a weird indie where he like goes back and forth and imagines himself in adventures.
Wait, I'm sorry. What was the name of the movie?
The Secret Life of Walter Mitty.
Oh no, sorry, I was thinking of a different movie.
Okay. And finally, Sam Mosher has recommended, hey, I highly recommend watching HBO's Bad Education for the Nick list. It's the director of Thoroughbreds and stars Hugh Jackman and Allison Janney, I believe, who gives his best performance since Logan. 100% agree. It's definitely a good movie, as Nick would say. I know there haven't been many, but it's my favorite new movie of 2020. Have you guys seen this yet?
No, but I feel like it's popped up on like a million recommendation lists.
I'm gonna say my my recommendation. Fuck. All right.
So really quick, just looking into stuff, just to let you know. So The Hate You Give is only streamable via Vudu right now, or if you have DirecTV. So we would have to either rent it or buy it. It's the same price, $5.99 to buy it. So we could do that.
I think we do.
The Secret Life of Walter Mitty, not on any streaming service except for something called Fubo. All
right, we'll keep
you
that.
You can buy it.
What?
Like on Amazon Prime or anything?
I mean, according to this, no. Maybe. Oh wait, I'm sorry. Yeah, you can buy it. Sorry, I was selected on the wrong thing. You can buy it. For let's $15.
And Bad Education's on HBO. So let's table that for a second because there's one other movie that I watched this week that I think we should talk about next week because it fucking blew me away, which is Ad Astra.
Oh,
Have you guys watched this movie?
We've watched it.
We went to the screener.
Yeah.
Okay.
So we can talk about it right now.
We're getting long on this one, but I want to give everyone an opportunity to watch it for next week. So I'm going to throw Ad Astra on the list next week for everyone's homework if you guys want to watch it and listen to us talk about it next week. That's going to be the next movie on the Nick list. I'm also going to say let's do The Hate You Give, because I think that's important, and I have been meaning to watch that movie. And then I'll leave it up to you guys for the last one. I put Bad Education on there. I think it's great. But I also watched a movie that I really enjoyed that I didn't think I was going to, which is a movie called Long Shot with Seth Rogen and Charlize Theron.
We've also seen that movie. Yeah.
Okay, so we could talk about that next week as well if you guys want to, or I'm open to suggestions on anything else you guys want.
Let me add Ad Astra and Long Shot to my little list here of just maybe I'll get back to them as refreshers, but I'm down to talk about both those movies.
Yeah.
Okay.
So wait, what are we deciding between then?
Let's do Ad Astra, The Hate You Give, and Long Shot for next week.
Okay.
And then we'll keep Bad Education potentially for the next week if you guys want to watch that. Or we can talk about 4. Fuck it. Let's put Bad Education on there too because I've seen it already. Is that too many movies for you guys to watch? You've already seen Ad Astra and Long Shot.
Well, I've already seen 2 out of them. Cool.
Yeah, but do we want to save Bad Education and throw in a different movie? Because Joey had one recommendation she threw out last week that I
ended up watching it and I didn't love it.
Oh, really?
D Fuller in the chat is calling it out. I watched The Vast of Night, which is on Amazon Prime right now.
Uh-huh.
It's a cool idea and it's very sci-fi, which is like not usually my vibe.
Right.
So I didn't love it, but I would be interested in seeing what other people think to see if I'm the outlier on this one because I know that I think both of you really like sci-fi more than I do.
Well, here's the thing. Let's put that on for the week after because I really want to hear y'all's thoughts on Ad Astra and I want the audience to watch it as well. And that's very deep sci-fi. So we'll put that. I'll keep our ongoing list here, and Kev, you can help me keep this list as well. Okay. We've got a lot of good ones, but for next week, let's just do 3 because that seemed like a fun length for discussion. We'll do Ad Astra, The Hate You Give, and Long Shot. So that covers a myriad of different genres there, and we'll go from there. I think we got to go because I think the guys have to do Gamescast right now, right?
We do.
Yeah, we're about 45 in. This was great.
Yeah. Okay.
What's up?
Nothing.
Oh, I'm excited.
Oh, okay, cool. Excited next week. So your movies are there. Of course, if you guys want to suggest more movies, keep them coming. Go over to patreon.com/kindafunny. Back us at the fan mail tier and let us know what your Nick list suggestions are. Any show, any movie, anything that's try to keep it easily streamable. Don't give me some weird obscure movie that you can only buy on Laserdisc. Let's keep it to movies that people are watching right now or movies that you can get on some of the streaming services. You know what, fuck it. Just put whatever you want in there and I'll decide. I'll decide what I let you guys know. Kevin, Joey, thank you guys so much for joining me. We'll be back next week. Until then, we'll see you online.